Summer Games Fest 2025 was a pretty incredible event, with tons of new game reveals, announcements, and updates. There was a lot to keep track of. So in this video, we take a look at 20 of the biggest announcements at the event. So let's dive right in. Splitgate II surprise drops Battle Royale mode available now. Splitgate II is officially here. Developer 1047 Games has launched the highly anticipated sequel to the 2021 sci-fi shooter Splitgate with a surprise twist. An all-new Battle Royale mode available right now on PC, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, and Xbox One. Splitgate 2 expands on the original's unique portal-based FPS formula with more maps, weapons, modes, and an ambitious new take on the Battle Royale genre. Death Stranding 2 on the beach new cutscene. Kojima Productions didn't reveal the final trailer for Death Stranding 2 on the beach at Summer Games Fest. However, he did provide a new clip featuring newcomer Neil, played by Luca Marinelli, and as it turns out, he's a porter. The clip sees him speaking to an individual part of Bridges, Lucy, who has a similar mark on his hand. Neil seemingly doesn't remember her, prompting frustration. Kojima, via translator, notes that both are important characters and that Marinelli put in a great performance as Neil. Death Stranding 2 on the beach launches on June 26th for PS5. While the gameplay loop still features delivering packages by navigating difficult terrain, there are now more options for stealth and combat. If you prefer sneaking, decoy BT grenades and stealth takedowns are available. The combat-focused can leverage weapons like shotguns, grenade launchers, and even the mule's electrified pole weapon. Expect more details in the coming days, including a live gameplay demo at the Death Stranding 2 on the Beach game premiere event happening on June 8th. Game of Thrones War for Westeros announced. Developer PlaySide, along with Warner Bros. Games, has unveiled a new game set in the Game of Thrones universe. This time around, it's a real-time strategy game titled Game of Thrones War for Westeros. While we didn't get to see any gameplay in the trailer, there was quite a bit of emphasis of putting the power of the Game of Thrones narrative in the player's hand. The trailer featured quite a few epic battles, among them being the Night King going one-on-one against Jon Snow. The Night King comes out as the victor, turning Jon Snow into yet another White Walker for his armies. While the number of available factions is currently unknown, the trailer indicates that the White Walkers, the Night's Watch, and Daenerys' army will be at least some of the playable options in the game. Game of Thrones War for Westeros is being developed for PC and is slated for release sometime in 2026. Atomic Heart 2 announced. Mundfish has announced a sequel to its 2023 first-person shooter Atomic Heart. Atomic Heart 2 is coming to consoles and PC, although a release window has not yet been confirmed. Developed on Unreal Engine 5, it's described as a spiritual successor to the first game, taking place on a larger scale. There's a greater emphasis on role-playing mechanics, and based on the trailer, new mechanics include a greater variety of vehicles, a glider, and many more new locations. Major Sergei Nechayev, known as Agent P3, seemingly returns, but his role remains to be seen. Stay tuned for further updates, which may take some time, especially given the first game's lengthy development cycle. Anamusha Way of the Sword new trailer. A new trailer has been released for the upcoming action game Anamusha Way of the Sword. The trailer was released during Summer Games Fest 2025 and showed off quite a bit of gameplay. While the trailer does have some bits of story, especially at the beginning and the end, most of it involves showing off its intense combat, where protagonist Miyamoto Musashi can take on demonic enemies in melee combat. Along with using the katana, players will also get some magical abilities, one of which was shown off in the trailer as being a pair of heavy maces that can seemingly cause breaks in reality to cause massive damage. Throughout the trailer, there is also an emphasis on showing off the game's parrying system, with the hero parrying several different kinds of attacks, from simple melee attacks to energy balls that can be bounced back to the enemy that shot them, and even heavy attacks from bosses. Anamusha Way of the Sword is slated for release on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S in 2026. Ark Raiders release date. Embark Studios' Ark Raiders received a sleek new trailer at the Summer Games Fest, and despite leaks thus far, it's actually not shadow dropping today. Instead, it will launch on October 30th for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC. Announced at the Game Awards in 2021, Ark Raiders takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where machines called the Ark have wiped out most of humanity. As a raider, it's your job to venture to the surface and gather materials, fighting to survive against any hostile Ark. Of course, other players controlling their own raiders are also foraging, and you can either work with or betray them for some resources. The gameplay loop is that of an extraction shooter. You can exit the arena at any time or stay for better rewards, though staying put means potentially losing your loot if you do go down. Lies of P Overture out now. NeoWiz has confirmed that Lies of P Overture is out now for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Retailing for $29.99 and serving as a prequel to the acclaimed 2023 action RPG, Overture takes place in Krat's past, with P teaming up with Leah, the legendary stalker. Very little is known about the story except that players will, quote, unravel the mysteries of the past, which seemingly hold dire consequences. Lies of P Overture is about 15 to 20 hours long, though this could vary depending on your skill. Alongside new bosses and environments, there are new weapons to unlock, including special weapons. Infinitesimals announced. Infinitesimals, the upcoming third-person action adventure from indie developer Qubit Studios, puts players in the tiny boots of an elite alien captain stranded on a planet. You play as Captain Ocni Rellenrake, the leader of a squadron left scattered across a catastrophic crash. Players must explore colossal environments, track down missing crew members, and survive a world dominated by deadly mechanical sentinels known as the Hunter-Gatherers. Mafia: The Old Country new trailer. Developer Hangar 13 and publisher 2K Games have released a new trailer for the upcoming action game Mafia: The Old Country. The trailer was released during Summer Games 2025 and showed off quite a few story scenes from throughout the game. Among the core themes in Mafia: The Old Country will seemingly be the idea of revenge and how, quote, it can only come from someone close. The trailer then takes us through quite a few different scenes from the game, introducing us to characters that will likely play a pivotal role in the story. Mafia: The Old Country is slated for release on August 8th and will be coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Dying Light: The Beast release date. Techland revealed a new gameplay trailer for Dying Light: The Beast and a release date. It's out on August 22nd for Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, PS4, PS5, and PC. Set 13 years later and following the dismal events of The Following, Kyle Crane is back and seeking vengeance against those who imprisoned and experimented on him, in this case, a figure named the Baron. He'll explore new locations, running across rooftops and slaying the infected with firearms and melee weapons. Vehicles also return as Kyle can drive a 4x4 and run over the infected. The zombie DNA in his genes means he'll be able to unleash powerful new abilities, which can hopefully help him survive the night. Dying Light: The Beast will be available for free to those who own the Ultimate Edition of Dying Light 2 Stay Human. Mouse PI for Hire new trailer. The developers have revealed that award-winning actor Troy Baker will voice the lead character in their upcoming 1930s noir-inspired first-person shooter Mouse PI for Hire. Baker will play private investigator Jack Pepper, a former war hero turned detective navigating the corrupt, crime-infested streets of Mouseburg. Quote, I've been following Mouse PI for Hire since it was first teased, Baker said. Its art style, gameplay, and 1930s film noir aesthetic continue to win me over. I cannot wait to bring Jack Pepper to life. Stranger Than Heaven is the official title for RGG Studios' Project Century. RGG Studio, the studio behind the legendary Yakuza and Like a Dragon series, has unveiled its next game. Formerly titled Project Century, the studio has now confirmed that the game is named Stranger Than Heaven. The trailer leans into its 1940s setting, complete with era-appropriate jazz music, trench coats, and old cars. Judging by the trailer, we'll get to explore the 1940s version of Sotenbori, a region that first made its debut all the way back in Yakuza 2, and which is based on the real-world location Dotonbori. While we didn't get to see too much in the way of real-time combat, the few glimpses that we did get indicate that Stranger Than Heaven will feature real-time action combat. Stranger Than Heaven doesn't yet have a release date. Going by the studio's tradition, the game will likely come to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Mecca Break release date. Following a successful and controversial open beta on Steam, the developers announced a release date for Mecca Break, its upcoming team-based mecha cooperative shooter. It launches on July 1st for Xbox Series X and S and PC. Taking place in, well, you guessed it, a post-apocalyptic world where nations and factions fight over a material called Korite. Players pilot mechs in various PvP modes, fighting for supremacy. There are several different types to choose from, including Falcon, which boasts a flight mode, and the heavier Tricera, which is tankier and has several more weapons. Alongside competitive matches, players can also partake in an extraction shooter mode called Matchmake, with upgrades, AI enemies, and much more. Head here for more details. Mecca Break has received positive impressions for its gameplay, though the progression and need to unlock more mechs drew significant backlash for the beta. Mind's Eye and Hitman collaboration. Developer Build a Rocket Boy has released a new trailer for its upcoming action game Mind's Eye. The trailer was released during Summer Games Fest 2025 and serves as the title's launch trailer ahead of its June 10th release date. Along with the new trailer, Build a Rocket Boy has also announced a collaboration with publisher IO Interactive to include Hitman series protagonist Agent 47 in Mind's Eye in some form. While details haven't yet been revealed, the end of the trailer shows the unmistakable silhouette of Agent 47. The Mind's Eye cross-Hitman collaboration is the first one announced, with more updates on the way. Mind's Eye revolves around protagonist Jacob Diaz, a former soldier with a neural implant, taking on all sorts of conspiracies involving rogue AI, corporate corruption, and humanity's survival. Mind's Eye is coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. End of Abyss announced. End of Abyss, the debut title from Section 9 Interactive, is a dark, atmospheric action-adventure game set in a foreboding sci-fi world where exploration is as crucial as survival. Announced today, the game places players in the role of Cell, a young combat technician sent to investigate a mysterious disturbance deep within an underground facility, only to uncover a terrifying descent into a broken world filled with grotesque creatures and buried secrets. End of Abyss is set to launch in 2026 for PC via the Epic Games Store, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Jurassic World Evolution 3 announced. Frontier Developments have officially revealed Jurassic World Evolution 3, and it's shaping up to be the most ambitious entry in the series yet. The game features over 80 prehistoric species, with 75 of them allowing players to manage and nurture dinosaurs across multiple generations. For the first time in the series, players will be able to raise dinosaurs from playful juveniles into full-grown adults. Dinosaurs will interact dynamically with each other and the environment, creating a living, reactive ecosystem that park visitors will marvel at. Scum 1.0 release date. After nearly a decade of development and over 250 updates during its time in Steam Early Access, Scum is finally reaching its full launch. The developer has confirmed that the brutal open-world survival sim will exit Early Access and hit version 1.0 on June 19, 2025, bringing with it a sweeping update packed with visual upgrades and new gameplay content. Quote, "We're so excited to confirm the 1.0 launch date for Scum during tonight's Summer Games Fest," said Gamepire's GM Sven Folkessen. Quote, "This is not a game for the faint-hearted, and we cannot wait to see players put their skills to the test." Acts of Blood. If you've ever wondered what a fusion of Sleeping Dogs and the Batman Arkham series might look like, Acts of Blood may be your answer. Developed by a solo creator, this upcoming title promises gritty, visceral, hand-to-hand combat with a level of brutality that pulls no punches. The game is currently slated for release next year, giving the developer time to refine the mechanics and polish the experience even further. Ill. Set in a decaying research facility teeming with grotesque aberrations, Ill is being designed by a team with experience in horror games. Their goal? Not just to scare you, but to trap you inside the fear. Featuring a cutting-edge gameplay system, binaural audio, and realistic physics, Ill aims to create a survival horror experience where tension is not just seen, but physically felt. Ill is currently in development with no confirmed release date, but the new trailer has set the tone for what could be one of the most viscerally intense horror games in years. Resident Evil 9 Requiem announced. During the closing moments of the event, Resident Evil Requiem was revealed. It starts with Grace Ashcroft, the daughter of Alyssa Ashcroft, who's asked to investigate a murder in a hotel, the same place where her mother died. Things quickly go from intriguing to terrifying as she finds herself strapped to a hospital gurney with no way to escape. The trailer then cuts to a ruined city with a massive crater and the ruins of a building confirming it's Raccoon City. Some monstrosities are showcased, but there's no sign of Leon S. Kennedy, heavily rumored to feature in the sequel. Resident Evil Requiem launches on February 27, 2026, and while no platforms were announced, it will be playable at Gamescom in August. It's described as a bold shift in tone and gameplay for the genre with, quote, high-stakes cinematic action to go with that survival horror. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at Gaming Vault, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.